John Cena works for Transformers.
Yeah. He just works for it. His roles. He's an amazing actor. A method actor, as some would call him.
I mean, he gets the job done.
Something I keep seeing is people giving Uzaki-chan shit for being let's not get into that right now.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Cute anime girl.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right.
So cute.
All right, so let's just jump into it. What's poppin', players? Here we back once again, episode 3 of the 2-penny Gamescast. I am your host, Tavin Bothell, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hi to the people, Connor.
Hi, guys. It's me again.
It's him again. And here we are to give you our 2 pennies, our 2 cents, our 2 topics each about the happenings and the new news of the video game industry. This week, I'm gonna just jump right into it because we got a bit of a stacked week this week.
Yes.
It's some heavier topics than last week. I'm gonna start right with the PlayStation State of Play that happened earlier this week on Thursday. PlayStation came out, said, "Hey, we're doing a State of Play on Thursday. Don't expect anything big."
And we did not get anything big. Nice little few
we got
gems.
some cool stuff.
Nice
stuff,
gems,
but nothing.
No AAA titles really.
Nothing's blowing your skirt up. Well, there's AAA titles. Godfall, Hitman.
Is Godfall a AAA title?
Yeah.
Yes, it would be. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the first exclusive to be announced. I don't know what studio's doing it. I should know, but
actually.
I don't. I'll look that up later. We'll correct it next week. Yeah, so we'll just jump right into it, give you the rundown of everything that happened. They kicked the show off with Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time.
Yes, it is about time, actually.
A bunch of new gameplay. They showed off their new inverted mode they flip it and add all these different styles and stuff. They make it different colors.
It looks like Crash Bandicoot's coming back for more good stuff. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. I think it looks cool. I've never played a Crash Bandicoot. Have you played Crash Bandicoot?
No, I have not. I didn't play the new the remaster of the first one that came out.
Neither did I. I wanted to, but I was poor at the time. But just watching the Crash Bandicoot 4 gameplay, I was like, you know what? I might have to go jump in and see what this Crash guy is about.
When the trailer dropped a while ago, it looked really interesting because it actually made me laugh. It's just a funny game.
It looks funny.
It's kind of the strengths of the Crash Bandicoot games. They just have a really light air about them, and they're bringing that back.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And I love. I mean, Crash is more of like a 2.5D platformer, but
platformers are your kind of thing.
I love platformers. I specifically love 3D platformers. But yeah, it looks like it's scratching all the itches. It's set to come out October 2nd, 2020. Yeah, I'm probably gonna play it.
If you like Crash Bandicoot, you're probably already going to get the game.
Yeah.
I think this might bring in more people because it just looks fun. It looks really, really fun.
When I have time, I'll jump back into the remastered collection and toy around with that, see how I like it. And yeah,
just a good game.
Yeah, just good stuff. Looked fun. Looks beautiful. Lots of colors.
Good way to open the State of Play.
I enjoy, and I think it sets the tone properly for the State of Play. Hey. Nothing huge. Here's Crash.
It's nice fun all times.
We like Crash. Next, they showed some Hitman 3, to which I go, what are you going to show us in Hitman that's going to be new? Okay, yeah, you can do the thing. You could do, you do your contracts any way you want, dress this way, use these weapons. Oh, shit, we're going to VR.
Yes, that was, I mean, considering all that they've done up until this point, it's kind of just the newest territory they can go into while keeping it fresh. So,
I mean, they didn't need to do anything fresh, Like, they could have Hitman is a game where you can just keep giving great levels with the same formula and it'll work. But the fact that the whole game is in VR at launch, what the fuck? It's almost enough to make me want to buy VR and play it. And I don't even like Hitman.
VR lovers are just getting more and more stuff every single day. Almost.
Listen, it's only a matter of time before it becomes like a fourth pillar in gaming,
I can see it on that way to becoming that. especially with another game that was announced during the State of Play that
Yeah,
you're especially interested in.
We'll get to. Well, it wasn't announced, but we'll get to it. Next, they showed off, or they announced Braid Anniversary Edition. Connor, have you ever played Braid?
I did actually.
You have?
I did. Yeah, I played it a while back when I first got my laptop. Before I got my PC, years before I got my PC.
Yeah,
I just, my cousin had played it, and it looked really fun. It was a big showcase of the Game of the Year awards that year.
Yeah, people loved Braid.
Nominated for a lot of awards, and it was really fun. I mean, I don't have any interest going back to it. At the end of the day, you would love it. It's a platformer.
Oh, it scratched every itch for me.
It's a platformer with interesting mechanics. The time.
I've never played Braid.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm gonna play this when it comes out.
Yeah, you need to play it. Yeah. It's a game you can't pass up.
Yeah, so they showed off new animations. They said character models have 9 times the pixels that they did in the original.
Boy,
so
yes.
brand new design.
I can almost see the pixels.
High detail, improved sound and music. They've added director commentary, which does nothing for me. And then they said that it's going to release on PS4 and PS5 early 2021. Yeah, I'm going to jump into that because it was doing all the things. Next, they jumped into Spelunk. Oh, I'm sorry. They jumped into The Pathless. They showed new extended gameplay. It's coming out holiday of this year. I assume launch-ish. Did you watch? You saw the whole State of Play, yes?
Yes, I did, and that was one of the better games that
oh
showed.
My god, dude!
That's a game I would actually. A lot of these games, even though they look good, don't really scratch any of my itches that I have. But this is one of those games that I'm very interested in getting.
The Pathless is the one game that I came away from the whole State of Play, and I was like, I'm playing that game. I love the exploration. I love that it's mixed with momentum. The constant keep the player engaged with the bow and arrow and shoot these random targets to keep your momentum up and all of this. It looks like Breath of the Wild, but fucking interesting.
Okay, well, that's not true at all, because Breath of the Wild is an amazing game, one of the best games that's been released on Switch, and one of the best Legend of Zelda games of all time.
It's fine.
It's amazing.
It's fine.
How does it feel being the small guy in that conversation, huh? The minority.
I mean, it's not the most fun thing in the world, but here I am. And I stand by it. That game is fine.
Still does.
It's fine, and I'll
You're
stand
entitled
by
to
that.
your own opinion.
I am, and I'm going to have that one until the day I probably die. It's super fine. Anyways.
But
to Pathless
looks great.
Art design, phenomenal.
The traversal aspects are really interesting. I'm always a big fan of natural environments, so this thing has that in spades.
Oh my god, dude! When she's just jumping around and sliding, and I can't wait to play that game. And when she's fighting that big fire
demon
thing or whatever, that looked really cool. They didn't need to show us that.
They didn't, but I'm happy they did because it was pretty cool.
I would say that's my biggest critique of the whole State of Play is you were showing us too much. Let us have some fun and explore the game on our own. You already had us with just the base mechanics, and then show, like, if you want to show that cool battle shit, like, just intercut with, like, some cool cinematic stuff and then some gameplay, like, just real quick, choppy, nice presentation, like, type edited trailer that we normally see. Don't just show us the fight, because then when we get to the fight, one, we're not going to do it as cool as you just did it, because that's a practice demo. So we're not going to feel as cool when we do it. And two, we've seen it already. So it's just inherently not as interesting as it would be as the first time. It's the same problem with
Marvel's Avengers.
Marvel's Avengers, yes.
It's the Golden Gate segment.
Yeah, that Golden Gate segment, when we play it, we're not going to feel as cool as it looks the first time we saw it. But also, like, this goes all the way back to Uncharted 4. The convoy scene, they showed that before the game released. So then when we did it, and we're, like, clunkily driving down the streets of Madagascar, and we're not quite hitting the turns as cool as whoever played that demo was hitting the turns, we didn't feel as cool, you know? Because we know there's a way to do it better. Anyways, that's my whole critique. But the Pathless looks phenomenal. I'm going to play that. I want to play it now. Let me play it.
Yeah. Games like Ghost of Tsushima and Assassin's Creed Odyssey made me really fall in love with games that can let you take in the environment. And this game also seems to have that.
Oh, Ghost does it on another level than any other open world game.
But still, besides that point, Path looks amazing.
I just like that it's like, hey, climb these mountains and valleys and get across these plains, but like do it cool.
You know, I was surprised this isn't the same developer as who made Journey, the game that released back in 2012.
Oh God, no.
No,
they don't make games like that. Their games are all based on emotion and shit.
I know. That's why when I saw the gameplay actually start going on and them fighting the Fire Beast, I realized I don't think this is the same developers, and it's not.
God, no.
No.
I don't think they'll ever have a bow and arrow in any of their games.
No, I do not think so. But I'm excited to play this game.
I'm so excited. Next, then they showed off Spelunky 2. They gave new gameplay and a release date, which I failed to put down. September 15th.
You know, I played the original Spelunky for a little bit. I think it was free with PlayStation at some point back when on the PS4.
I seem to remember playing it on 360 for games with gold.
I played it somewhere. I don't remember where.
Me too.
Instantly thought it wasn't my cup of tea, so I dropped it pretty quickly.
It's not my cup of tea either.
Spelunky 2 is kind of following that same trend.
Yeah.
People who like the first Spelunky probably going to love this
More
game.
power to you.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Have
and
fun.
it looks good, but just it looks like more Spelunky, and I'm cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not for me. Next, they showed off Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
Connor, you like the anime games.
I love the anime games.
You love the anime games. How'd this one do for you?
You know, I like a lot of anime. I watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
But one issue that happens a lot every single time of the year is a bunch of shows come out that are very generic looking, and the presentation is very generic, and it may look cool visually, but the content's never there, and it seems like this is going to be that.
Falls into that bucket.
It falls exactly into that bucket. One thing that I was especially worried about was I watch a lot of anime subbed, which is to say in Japanese, because dubs can kind of come out a little bit weird sometimes, and it seems like this one, which seems to have a heavier emphasis on English voice acting, it seems kind of cheesy. Seems like a lot of the bad dubbing that I've seen in other anime, so
interesting.
That instantly turned me off as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The gameplay looks like it had potential, but it just also, again, just looks so generic, and it just looks like it's, input buttons and just bash opponents to death.
Interesting.
It doesn't seem like there's much style putting into it.
I'm a little hotter on Genshin Impact than you. Mm-hmm. I liked what I saw, but I don't know anything more about I don't know as much about anime type stuff than you do. So in terms of tone and quality and the bar we're setting here, I don't know. I don't have a bar. If you look good, you look good, and this looked good to me. But it didn't. It's as soon as it was by the time the showcase ended, I'd forgotten about it. Mm-hmm. So I would like to play it, but I'm gonna forget about it, and it's gonna end up in the vaporware, show up on some bargain bin somewhere, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that game. Mm-hmm. Nah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
But I hope it's cool.
I hope it is as well. Maybe I'm just completely wrong.
Maybe.
Which would be nice, but even then, I don't think
you're
it's
wrong
really...
often.
Huh. Well.
Anyways. Next, they jumped into Aeon Must Die, which we're going to talk about in more detail a little later in the show. They showed off gameplay, 2021. I'll say this game is not doing it for me. 2D, beat 'em up. Typically, beat 'em ups don't do it for me generally, but this one I was like, man, these animations are stiff. It looks slow, and there was nothing interesting combo-wise happening on screen. Whenever it cut to cinematics, the game's got great style and cinematic flair, so it all, that part of it, I was like, oh man, this looks fucking dope. But then they would cut back to gameplay, and I'd be like, fuck, that looks boring as shit.
Yeah, well, I know you and me definitely agreed with how well it looks, how good it looks. It's just really unique. I love the art style.
Yeah.
But
Flashy.
I could see the gameplay not being the way that you're describing it as, but it seems like one of those games that I really have to get my hands on to see how it plays. And to be honest, I had a lot of hope for this game when I saw it. Of course, other elements of it have kind of put me off. We'll get to that later. But
I don't have any hope for this game coming out good.
See, I think otherwise. I think it looks like it has the ability to be very fun.
We'll get into those
playing
details
game.
because the devs are falling apart.
Yes, it is. So, it looks visually amazing.
Set to come out December 2020. So,
really
should be about done. So, and the way it looks right now, I'm good. Pass. Then they showed off Anno Mutationum. This is another 2D fighter game. It's got some anime girl throwing swords around. had some presentation where like they would like move the camera and you're behind the character and let's show you off this city or like this like little area. The combat looked engaging enough, flashy enough to be like, oh, I could see myself playing that. But then it ended with like a sort of like a mysterious, like, what's going on here? Like, this seems like spiritual and otherworldly. I'm kind of interested in that.
Yeah. I had seen it first and wasn't really that impressed. To be honest, when I was watching it during the state of play, I kind of checked out and was like, this is not really for me.
Yeah.
Tavin actually pointed that out just a little bit
You
earlier.
do that, dog.
I do
Don't
that. But I took a second look at it, and it looked really good. You know,
Looks interesting.
Pretty. A lot of smaller game developers make these kinds of games, and the presentation is always amazing. You know,
the presentation
is
and the art is usually always really good. I don't like that animation style that they have for when the character's moving, at least in like the cutscene segments of what they showed, where it looks like the character's moving at like 10 frames a second on purpose. Not my favorite style choice, but you know, it's fine. But yeah, this looked like the kind of game that would come out and be kind of like a sleeper indie game. I don't know how you compete in a console launch environment as a sleeper indie game. Like, you're not even like the big indie games. You're just kind of like one of those ones that like someone throws on and is like, hey man, this game is actually pretty good. Y'all should try it. And then, you know, maybe a couple people do, but it doesn't really catch fire like that.
I don't have much hope for it going forward, but the game itself looks good, and I hope it does well.
It
seems
looks
like there was love put into it.
You know, and if it comes out and gets good reviews, I might play it, but who knows how busy we'll be in, you know, at that time. Because we're dealing with console launches, a whole bunch of slew of games. It's December, so it'll start slowing down, but I mean, we got some heavy hitters coming.
And who knows how long we'll be playing those games, because, you know, Cyberpunk's that comes out a month before. It's going to have multiplayer eventually.
Cyberpunk, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, Halo, Spider-Man, like just a whole bunch of stuff still coming. So we're going to have our hands full this holiday season.
The year hasn't ended yet.
It's not. We slowed down here in the middle, but we're due for some busy weeks. Next, they jumped into Bugsnax. New gameplay and trailer. They showed off, you know, there's a whole bunch of different things happening in the game. You're like not farming, but you're like collecting the Bugsnax and you're hunting them and trapping them, and they showed off some new Bugsnax. There's like quests that you go on to go find Bugsnax and bring them back to villagers or whatever. There's like a whole Pokemon Snap inspired minigame that you can do. We haven't talked about it on the show, and I don't think we've ever talked about it personally. Where's your stance on Bugsnax?
I don't care.
You don't. I figured you would.
To be honest, it's, you know, when I was watching the state of play, one of the big things I took away from that is this is going to be on the PS5, and I just, like, that's the game that's going to be like, you're going to take note of the fact that
what is this obsession? Because you mentioned this up when we talked about the Xbox showcase. What is this obsession with like new next gen games being crazy? Like, you've never had an experience. We've had an experience like this. Like, video games are video games at this point. There's not going to be a huge generational leap. You know, it's not going to be the NES to the Super Nintendo ever again.
No, I'm not expecting that, but I just can't help but feel whenever something like this is announced and they highlight that's for the PS5, usually it's like, you know, it seems like they should be trying to say something like, hey, this is doing something that's worthy of being monikered as a PS5 game. This didn't do any of those things like that.
Here's where I come down on it when it comes to upgrading generations. We aren't going to see anything revolutionary out of the gate. You know, you can even look at it with how this generation started. Killzone Shadowfall, Infamous Second Son, whatever the fuck Rome game came out on Xbox. It's all just more of what we saw before. It's not until you get to the later generation stuff that it matters. So the pitch here, to me, is we are putting out a new console. Here are games to play on the new console. So when you buy your console, you're not sitting around for 3, 4, 6 months plus saying, hey, I bought this thing and I've got nothing to play on it. So PlayStation's perspective on this, which is different from Xbox's, because Xbox's entire strategy is just different this time around. But PlayStation's perspective on it is, we got the games. You know, here's super dope, crazy Spider-Man game that everyone's going to love. Here's Godfall, that is going to be, our answer to Destiny. Here's Bug Snacks for all you, people who love the cute, cuddly games and your quote-unquote girlfriends of the world.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You know what? Now that I think about it, I do remember when the PS4 was released.
We had jack shit for months.
Infamous.
Yeah.
The Order, Warframe. And that was it for a while.
The Order came out later.
Did it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, even worse.
Order, I think, was like a 2014 game.
And The Order failed, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time.
Yeah. It's just, once again.
So yeah, when they're showing off these games, they're saying, we got games. What do you want?
Fair enough.
We got a stock. What do you want? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, in terms of what they showed here, I like that it's actually like a game. Because their initial trailer was like, okay, you eat the bugs and then you turn into the snack or something. This is weird. What's the gameplay? Here they're like, hey, we have an actual game and a story and quests and stuff. And I'm like, oh.
Considering that angle, yeah, that makes sense that they would.
And these are from the same guys who do Octodad, so this looks like a big step up from Octodad. Mm-hmm. Octodad, cool, gimmicky, funny, gimmicky, whatever. This one, it's like, hey, we actually kind of got like an actual game here. Oh, okay, I'd like to see more. Catchy song.
Of course, that's what you would take away from that.
Talking about bug snacks, man. It's a good song. Next was Star Wars Vader Immortal VR. They did a gameplay trailer, but they announced a release date for PSVR, August 25th, 2020.
Looks like a stupid Star Wars game,
How fucking dare you?
In all honesty, it did look impressive.
Yeah, so on a bigger note when it comes to Star Wars, I'm a huge fanboy, fucking love it, grew up with it, obsessed with it. Every time Darth Vader breathes, my fucking dick gets hard. You enjoy Star Wars, but more just like a casual fan type
I like
stuff.
Lord of the Rings.
You like Lord of the Rings? I don't know. But yeah, this, oh my god, this is the type of like Star Wars VR game I fucking want.
You've been waiting for this.
Oh, dude, force powers and lightsaber battles.
I feel like I'm a Jedi.
I could feel like a Jedi. But no, and it looked pretty. The presentation was there. I know it's been on Oculus forever, so I'm sure it's going to visually not look as great as that because it's coming to PSVR. But it might just be a reason that I buy a PSVR.
You've been given a lot of reasons from the games you like, so...
I've been given a lot of reasons.
This may be,
a lot of reasons. Like I heard Iron Man VR was okay.
Which one?
Iron Man VR.
Huh, that was a thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. That seemed to be the reaction to, like, it's cool. It's good. Not great.
Little fun VR game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I got plenty of reasons to jump into the PSVR. I might have to do it.
Well, my fear with VR games is that once the allure of it wears off, it doesn't play as well. I don't have any experience with VR, so I can't say
we just need more practice. There are games that like people hail as, hey man, these are like game of the year contenders. Mm-hmm. Like Astrobot last year, people were fucking tripping balls over. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so yeah. Next, they jumped into the Control AWE DLC trailer. It was mostly just a trailer. They had some gameplay elements, but it's Control, so you know what it is. Mm-hmm. It's releasing August 27th. This month. Oh, we got a busy month when you really sit back and look at it. All these smaller devs and all the indie devs trying to get in before the big hitters come. Connor, you never played Control.
No, I never. No. You recommended it, but
I
never
played it. Oh my god,
dude.
Dude. Fucking great game.
One of your favorite games from last year.
Oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, just that game was on another level mechanically of just like that constant balance between shooting your gun overheats, so you gotta have it on cooldown. Let me use my powers. Oh, I'm out of the equivalent of like MP.
Control dust.
Yeah, I'm out of energy. So let me switch back to the gun, and then I gotta dodge this way to avoid that projectile. Let me shoot that guy in the face, and then let me dodge this way to throw a rock at that guy, and now let me jump in the air and fly and pull up a shield. Oh my god, dude, it was perfect balance of gameplay. And then this being an Alan Wake inspired DLC, they're all in the same universe. Which I'll say, the story of Control, like the narrative, not very good. It's jumbled and confusing, and tries a little too hard to be mysterious. It tries a little too hard to be a Hideo Kojima game. And it just doesn't quite hit the mark, and it's just not written phenomenally.
But it's a fun game. It's a very fun game.
Oh, it's so good. But the story is engaging enough to get through it to a point. And then the mechanics carry it the rest of the way. And it's by far one of the greatest games of last year, and it's a great game to just have and play. It's fucking awesome. My only problem with this DLC, which I would like to jump into, but my assumption is the DLC assumes I know how to play still. I haven't played that game in a year. So...
is it really like a big learning curve to that game? Or is it pretty simple?
It's one of the games that starts simple and then they just keep throwing abilities at you.
You're right.
And those abilities feed into the general gameplay loop. So, like, new enemy types change how you engage in encounters. Like, there's an enemy in that game that, like, is, like, super dangerous and he's invisible.
Ah, okay.
And he only becomes visible when he comes in to hit you. It's like a snake type thing. And when that enemy is introduced, and when you know he's in a combat encounter, it changes how you approach that fight. Things like that make me go, fuck, I don't have that instinct anymore. And I assume the DLC is going to assume I have that instinct when I don't. So if I do jump in, it's going to be confusing. I'm going to get my ass kicked. And I'm not in the mood to get my ass kicked for 2 hours. That was part of the problem with the Spider-Man DLCs, which were unbalanced messes to begin with, but they also assumed that you knew what you were doing. Fuck, dude, I haven't played your game in months. I've been playing all these other games.
I had no clue there was a DLC for the game control. But
man, they announced they got like 3 major expansions happening.
Now, when you played that, how was it?
I haven't played any of the expansions.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you did.
No, I have not played a single one.
Yeah, so, I mean, if they gave you some time to relearn the curve, it'll probably be like this for this next game.
Which they won't, because they don't have time to. And then also you have to remember, like, if you go back and replay and have the DLCs, how annoying would it be, like, you start a DLC and here's a tutorial area. Excuse me. Anyways, but Control's awesome. Everybody should go play it. Next... the little mobile game that could, Auto Chess.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! October 31st, 2020. I wrote down 2021. This has to be October 2020 this year, because I can't imagine this would.
Well, this is a very complex game.
It's very complex. Auto Chess. Oh, fucking. Why is this here?
Chess has been around for a long, long, long time.
Long time.
And it's kind of one of those things that,
Well, they have different. There's like goblins and stuff. I assume these are just
right.
skins to put on your pawns.
These seem kind of like a gimmick, for a game that's been perfected already. Chess is chess.
Chess is perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. No need to, change it.
The only thing you should do to chess is just put an aesthetic on it, and this looked like it was like doing gameplay things to chess.
There's a new.
You don't do that.
There's just one chess game I saw where it's the normal pieces, but they have like models, and whenever they kill a certain unit, they have like animations that they do.
Yeah,
and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, that's some classic chess video game stuff.
Yeah, there you go. That's there. With a game like that, why do you need something like this? It's going to possibly complicate it. Past
but like, why is this here? This is a game that should just show up on the PSN store, and everybody's like, "Oh, I guess it's a chess game. All right, whatever."
Cheap chess game.
Like,
maybe I'll buy it.
why are you giving it the time of day?
It seems like one of those games that's put there just for a couple months down the line to be free for PS Plus.
It will definitely become free for PS Plus.
At some point,
it might launch free for PS Plus. Next is The Pedestrian, 2D platformer puzzle game. You're like moving pieces of paper. It's got like an office aesthetic. They're like moving pieces of paper around and moving this guy through the puzzle level or whatever. Looked cool, little simple, cool for puzzle heads, I guess. Whatever.
So is it kind of a platformer guy? Doesn't do anything for you?
It's not. It's more heavier on puzzles.
Is it? Okay.
Than it is on.
See, it seemed like this was a remaster for something else. Like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
It looked like it was like put on this from somewhere else.
Oh, it might have come out somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
I don't know, and it's just a PlayStation announcement.
Yeah,
I don't know, and I don't really care.
Well, you won't play it then?
No.
Why not?
Why would I? Because it looks super simple and boring, and the art style, like, it's just like office, like scraps of paper, and then they go to a construction yard. And you're like, who cares? This is bland.
It'll come and go.
Yeah. Next, Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. I think this is an announcement. I don't think we had seen this game before.
No, we had not.
It was mostly a cinematic trailer with little touches of gameplay. And, here's a guy running down a hallway, and then at the end it was like, oh, this guy shoots arrows, this guy has a mace, this guy...
Stabs people from the back.
Stabs people, and you're like, okay, yeah, a bunch of one-shots of characters doing something obviously in-engine, but we don't know anything about, like, actual gameplay, how it feels, how it looks, systems, etc. Set to come out 2021 on the PS5. It's a 4v4 multiplayer PvP game. Looked really cool.
Yeah, it looks like like each team's going to be going for an objective, and they got to beat out the other.
Yeah,
team.
one team's on defense, one's on.
It looks fun. It looks really fun.
Looks fun. If it's like medieval Rainbow Six Siege type stuff that actually works, unlike fucking Mordhau or whatever.
Mordhau.
Yeah, Mordhau mechanically doesn't work.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
That game's a glitchy mess.
Oh, it's amazing, dude. You just go around and bash people's heads with
I
balls.
mean, yeah, it's
great.
fun to knock off body limbs, but that game mechanically doesn't work.
That's probably because you're not good at it, Tavin. Because I don't know about you, but I kick ass in Mordhau.
I'm sure you do, Con.
I do.
Anyways, next, 1010 coming to PS5, 2021.
Pokemon ripoff.
Pokemon ripoff MMO game. Who cares? Moving on. Godfall.
The big event.
Their big event. This was the first PS5 exclusive game announced. They announced it back at Game Awards. It's set for a holiday 2020 release date. We assume console launch game along with the Spider-Mans and etc.
Right.
This is a looter slasher.
Looter slasher
is what they call it.
Moving away from the shooters that you usually see.
Moving away from the shooters. Long extended gameplay trailer. They did way too much, just like they did for the Pathless. Honestly, just like they did with Crash. Crash went on a little longer than it needed to as well.
It may have been just because they were trying to fill out time in the state of play to make it
45
longer.
minutes, man.
Yeah,
you don't even need to be that long.
Did not need to be, no. They went into parries and stuff, which is like...
Parries and then like different
game.
like weapon types.
Yeah,
and it's like,
you should have showed us the weapon types, but not like... That's all
but
we need
just
to know.
show them.
Yeah.
Like just have your characters hold them, and we get it.
Yeah.
We know what weapons look. This guy holds 2 daggers.
All of them have shields.
This guy's got a longsword. This guy's got a spear. This guy's got an axe. Okay, we get it.
Well, it was Warhammer.
Whatever. Regardless, don't go into each individual one and show me the different like special moves you could do. Fuck off. What did you think of Godfall?
You know, it didn't impress me at all. It looks like one of those games that really, really should, but...
It looks right up your alley.
It looks right up my alley, but I just couldn't help it. It looks like boring. You know, the combat doesn't seem like it'd be all that fun. The enemy types were a big issue with me. They looked very generic. Nothing interested me about the game.
If I didn't realize this was a looter shooter, looter slasher, or whatever until they said it in this state of play, I thought it was going to be more like a For Honor type game.
That would have gotten me way more interested.
And I agree. But with that new lens on, I agree the combat did look kind of bland until they got to that boss character. And that boss character looked awesome. Like that, like dodging the moves and then when you think about, okay, this is I think they said a 3-player co-op game.
Yes.
You know, okay, I can see how, okay, Connor's going to have the Warhammer. I'll have like the little dagger. So I'll come in, stab him a couple times, pull aggro so Connor can pull back and heal a little bit just so that he can jump back in and deal the main damage and take the main and tank it. And we study his moves and go, okay, he's doing the uppercut move. Move. Get out of the way. He's doing the area of effect. Everyone run type stuff.
This game, I instantly would have just wiped to the side if it didn't have multiplayer. Obviously, it was going to, but, if depending on the price of it and depending on what I'm feeling at the time, I still may get it, especially if I'm going to play with you.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, the things they showed me didn't pique my interest at all.
Yeah, unless it comes out and just bombs critically, I'm going to get every major launch game. So I'll probably play this because it looked good. And when it comes to like bland fighting mechanics, I noticed it was only on like the little guys, the ads and the guys that you're just running from event to event, killing these little guys. The interesting parts of Destiny, for example, aren't when you're shooting the smaller guys, even though that's still fun. It looks more fun, or it feels good to shoot in Destiny.
Yeah.
It didn't look fun to slash the little dogs or demon dogs in this. But with this, with the lens that, hey, these are just the small guys that you're just tearing through mindlessly. Okay, I could kind of see that, get into that. Let me see how it feels.
But how big of a role are they going to play? That's what I want to know. Like, is it going to be constantly just over and over and over again, wave after wave of these boring enemies, or is it just going to be the filler for the big bosses? Find out.
I mean, I agree with you. Yeah. But I think I'm a little more interested than you currently, which is weird because this is totally not my type of game.
It's not. I'm surprised you're actually as interested as you are.
Dude, it was that final boss fight sold me. That shit looked good. So, anyways, and that was it for the PlayStation State of Play August 2020. Overall, Connor, what were your thoughts?
I mean, if they had not said beforehand this is going to be a small thing, I would have watched it and been like, this was stupid. But they said it beforehand, so I knew what I was going in expecting. So I think they did a good job of it. There was games that were there for some people, some that weren't there for us. Just a good balance between the two.
I generally agree. Nothing to blow your skirt up, but nothing except for auto chess that you look at and go, wow, this looks like shit. Like, why am I even here? No, for the most part, all good to great looking games. Several that I'm actually weren't on my radar and now are. So it did its job. It was meant to be like, hey, here's some cool games coming out soon that maybe you don't know about. All right, cool. I'm in. So let's go ahead and get into your first penny of the day.
Yes.
We mentioned it earlier. Aeon Must Die.
The game that I thought looked good, but my enjoyment of it was hampered when I went to look up more information about it, and I found a controversy that's popped up.
Yeah, recently. So it turns out this is an article from Polygon written by Owen S. Good. PlayStation State of Play premiere game was, quote, stolen, developers allege. The publisher of Aeon Must Die, a anime-inspired beat-em-up shown at the PlayStation State of Play event on Thursday, has responded to allegations that the developing studio Limestone Games overworked numerous developers and, in their words, stole the game that appeared in yesterday's trailer. Quote, this trailer was created with abuse, manipulation, and theft, says the YouTube description of the same trailer, uploaded by a third-party account shortly after it was shown at the State of Play. Quote, people who have worked on every shot of this are no longer with the company holding IP rights. Some were not even paid for their work. This trailer has a pending conflict of IP. The real IP for the game was stolen from the creators via foul play, end quote. The statement links to a Dropbox folder with a cache of testimonials, allegations, and other documents made by 8 workers who left Estonia-based Limestone Games in June. Chief among them is a statement from Alexei Nihiroshkin, the former chief creative officer who helped found the studio in 2016. Nihiroshkin alleges that the chief executive, Larislav Lysenko, I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of these names, oversaw operations that failed to pay artists or properly staff the Aeon Must Die project, leading to severe crunch time development, among other abusives. As the creative team was dealing with this, Nihiroshkin and Lysenko was scheming with another investor to take complete control of the studio and its intellectual property. Some documents have been redacted entirely from the cache, while photo evidence of their existence is provided instead. So this sucks.
Yes, if the allegations do prove true, some shitty stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, so you took a look at this Dropbox folder of...
Yeah, I skimmed over a couple of the documents. It seems legit. There's actual screenshots of what looks like a Discord server, a chat between different people who are working on the game. Like the article says, there's testimonials, chief among them, the creative director who helped found the place. And honestly, it's bad, but it's not all that surprising. Things like this have happened in the past, and it just seems to be happening again.
They have, but that's no excuse for to be allowing this to happen.
One thing
the overworking and the intense crunch, that's kind of the cancer of the video game industry, and it sucks. But as of right now, we don't have any great solutions for it.
But stealing IP,
not paying your workers, and they go on. A lot of the people who were working on this demo that we saw, they're not even with the company anymore.
No, not at
so,
all.
what is this game? Is it falling apart?
Well, thankfully,
which sucks because game developers are passionate people. You have to be. You can't work in this industry and not have passion.
I know you said this game didn't really appeal to you, but it looks amazing. Obviously, love was put in there with how the game looks.
Yeah, and with every game, I hope it finds an audience, and I hope people like it.
Now, one thing I am thankful for is that Focus Home Interactive, the publisher, did say they're looking into it. They issued a statement on Twitter.
That's good.
So hopefully the people who actually did this kind of stuff, if they in fact did do it, are going to face some justice, hopefully be fired.
Absolutely.
And the people who were screwed over are going to get some form of retribution.
Yeah,
I don't know the future of the game. It could completely delay it by a couple months. It could cancel it completely. It could just, put it aside.
No, it's coming out this year, so I doubt it's going to be canceled.
You don't think it will be?
No. A lot of work's been going into it.
Well,
already.
Yeah, maybe it will be.
I'm sure with whatever publisher they're with, whether it's Sony or whether it's, some other publisher, I'm sure, hey, no, we've put a lot of money into this. We're going to go ahead and put it out.
One thing that made me skeptical is that it's a weird way to do this. Usually you go through, a news outlet, tell them what was going on, and then they report on it, not release a, separate trailer that has a Dropbox in the description that leads you to all of these documents.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, as long as the message does get out, and, an investigation is carried out, really the method doesn't matter all that much.
It's really, we're just going to have to see and wait. If I were to guess, this game is DOA.
It is new. This is new news, and we're just waiting on more developments. So we'll wait to see what happens.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into your second penny of the day.
Ah, yes.
Take-Two Interactive backs off of their $70 standard for games for next generation. This is an article from The Verge. Take-Two retreats from $70 being the norm for PS5 and Xbox Series X. The companies that sell video games... Oh, this is by Nick Stat of The Verge. The companies that sell video games are all staying relatively quiet about whether they plan to universally hike up prices from $60 to $70 with the launch of next-gen consoles later this year. But of the more vocal ones, massive publisher Take-Two Interactive has flip-flopped in its public statements of late, causing a bit of confusion in the process. After initially becoming the first company to say it would hike the price of next-gen versions of NBA 2K20, CEO Strauss Zelnick now says that the company may not be the company's plans for all of its next-gen titles going forward. Quote, "We're definitely announcing pricing on a title-by-title basis," end quote, Zelnick said in an earnings call Monday evening. Quote, "I would just observe there hasn't been a frontline price increase for a very long time, although costs have increased significantly." So let's let's not beat around the bush here. This is just entirely greed based in my mind.
Well, my big issue with it is that out of all the game studios to come forward and say we're going to hike prices, it's the people who make NBA 2K20.
Yeah, which is riddled with microtransactions and
they make shit tons of money.
That's it's
they're good. They don't need $70
it's that FIFA and all these games that just make a bunch of fuck ton money off of its microtransactions. And believe it or not, NBA 2K20 is going to come out for $70 still, even though they're kind of flip-flopping now. It's still going to be $70. And guess what? The microtransactions are still going to be there. Yep. So your argument that, hey, cost for games has increased, but we haven't raised the price of the games is true, but you're not... You countered that with microtransactions.
Yes.
That was your counter to that argument. Is saying, okay, so here we're going to throw in these microtransactions so we can pay that cost. Okay, that's fine, understandable. These companies usually, I know NBA 2K in the past has abused microtransactions, making it mechanic-based. If it's more customizable, okay, fine, we can stomach that a little more. If you go the loot box route, again, if it's customizable, we can. It's tolerable. But these are the companies that make it intrinsic to gameplay mechanics. EA did this just 2 years ago with Battlefront 2 and fucked the whole launch. That game is great now, but when it came out, it was fucking terrible.
It needed a ton of work when it came out.
Needed a ton of work, and thank God those developers, DICE, fucking went into overtime on that one because it paid off in spades. But this, we're going title by title basis. Then why is your flagship title $70?
Kind of a bad statement.
You're going to tell me your other games that don't make as much money are going to go back down to 60? Please. This is talk.
Now, you did have some good points, how game prices haven't increased in a long time.
No, I've got more opinions on that.
Well, yes, go forward with that.
So here's the thing. Yeah, game prices haven't gone up, but player bases have dramatically. The PS4 alone is what? Second, third highest selling console of all time? That's not even including PC gamers and Xbox? Like, come on, you're lying to us. And the reason past consoles have more are, I think, the PS2. The PS2 is still number one, but the PS2 sold so crazy because it was a DVD player. It wasn't gamers buying it. The Wii sold crazy because it was marketed as a family fun console device. This is a game night device. It's not a gamer's device. The PlayStation 4 is a gamer's device. Gamers are buying it. That's why we talked about this, last week or the week before, whatever, with Ghost of Tsushima sales.
One of the highest selling PlayStation games.
All these records keep getting fucking broken. You can't tell me, all these records are being broken. We're making all this money, but games are now too expensive to pay. No, there's more of us buying more games than ever before. If inflation is such an issue, it's on your side. Manage your teams better. Manage your marketing better. Now, I'm not opposed to a $10 increase for this generation. Games used to be very varied. They could range anywhere from $20 to $100 plus. Witcher 3 probably could have gotten away for being $100. Cyberpunk 2077, I'm willing to pay $100 for that game, but that's because I have faith in CD Projekt Red. They've delivered nothing but quality, and if they say, hey, this is going to be our next big game, it's going to be our best game, it's going to be our biggest game, we think it's worth $100. Okay, yeah, I'm going to pay $100 for that. I'm not going to do that for every game. For example, there's no reason Spider-Man Miles Morales, even though I love Insomniac, and Insomniac's one of my favorites, there's no reason that game should be, or it's understandable, I should say, if that game is $40. Because it's probably reusing a lot of assets from Spider-Man. It's probably going to be a smaller in-scope game. There's probably not going to be as much side content in it. There's probably not going to be any DLC coming down the line for that game. Okay, it makes sense for that to be a smaller price. It's probably still going to be $60, but who knows? Ratchet and Clank, the first one was $40, and that was perfectly priced for that game. We can explore the range of prices we're going towards, but we have to do it smartly. And just saying games are too expensive now is not a good enough excuse. It's true that they are more expensive now, but there are other variables to take into account that offset that inflation.
You see, at the end of the day, you said it earlier, it's promoted by greed. At the end of the day, I don't really
This specifically with Take-Two.
Yes,
because
that
Take-Two is money grubbing, almost as bad as EA.
In the broader scope of things, I don't trust companies. No matter how much I love their games, no matter how much the developers on those teams love making games and are as good to the players as they are.
No, yeah.
Companies I don't
They're
really
like
trust.
The government. You don't trust it.
Yes, exactly. But another issue angle that I have is that even if you have a justification, even though I think the justification for the most part, I don't agree with increase in game prices because of the fact that it's being solved by so many more gamers coming out and playing video games and them just generating so much more money all the time. Wages haven't really increased. So the player base isn't exactly making a bunch of money.
No, you're talking minimum wage. That's a different thing.
No, even just wages in general. They're not going up.
Well,
so
they also,
at the end of the day,
you're also not paying your workers, in general.
So exactly.
And you're overworking them with crunch with no overtime pay. Like, come on. Like, before you start saying, hey, we need more money or we're going to go, how about your fucking creative director, or let me rephrase. How about your fucking CEOs take a pay cut? So that, your hardcore workers can, justify why they're spending 60 plus hours a week in your studio,
Well, my actual, that is objectively true, but I've also kind of neglected to say that I was speaking from more of the viewpoint of the consumer. because they're not getting enough money to buy these games if you just keep hiking the prices for however much you want to do. I really don't think it's enough justification, and it makes a lot of people angry. I've not seen many people saying it's fine that they're doing this. I've seen outrage over it.
So you're in general you're against
majorly against it, yeah.
Increasing to $70.
I see any justification for raising it is outweighed by the reasons why it should be kept the same.
All the other things.
Yes.
I'm fine with it, but this message coming from these people,
and they've been the leading voice on it as well.
Yeah,
they're
not
issue.
Great. They're not great.
No.
Yeah, I smell bullshit when it comes to this.
I can expect later on to be more combat if other game developers decide to raise the prices of their games, but until we see that happen, we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out and see the reaction people have for it.
My only point is we can explore the range of games. They don't have to be a standard price. Your big AAA blockbuster games, sure, those can be a little more expensive than, maybe your smaller games. But, come on. Let's be real. When you're, the people aren't stupid, and you're talking to us like we're stupid. We know what's happening.
Yes.
Anyways, but that's about all we can say on it until we get further down the line and we see what next gen actually looks like. For now, let's go ahead and jump right into my final topic for today, which is Spider-Man exclusively coming to Avengers on PlayStation.
Yes.
This comes from PlayStation's Twitter account. They announced Monday, right as last week's episode came up, which we talked about the rumors of it happening just briefly and how we weren't really cool with that. Episode went up.
Yeah.
Tweet went up.
I think it was the day of we filmed. I went later that day.
The tweet went up at 12 p.m. So it went up at noon. Okay, no. So yeah, literally, 4 hours after our episode went live, this happens. Classic video game industry bullshit.
Always things changing.
Not
in a good way in this case. Definitely not.
So PlayStation tweets out, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man comes to Marvel's Avengers exclusively on PlayStation. Crystal Dynamics offers early details on its own unique take on the post-launch hero. I'm going to go ahead and take the wheel on this, Connor, because I'm a bigger, comic book fan than you, because you aren't one and I am one.
Yes.
But more importantly, fucking Spider-Man means so much to me.
It's one of the biggest selling comic books of all time. I can recognize its importance.
Spider-Man is, the most identifiable superhero next to Superman and Batman?
Yeah.
Other than that, who is next to those three?
When it came to comic books, I think he was the third. He has the third highest selling comics, if I remember correctly.
I believe that. I don't know. I don't know the numbers.
Major figure though, undisputably.
Here's the. Generally, I'm so vehemently against this move that I'm double downing against it because I think this is capitalism in the worst way. This is an abuse of the system, I think. So I'm double downing now, and I'm saying, I still want to play Avengers, so if I do buy Avengers, I'm buying it on another platform because I'm so vehemently against this. Even though, ideally, Spider-Man would be the thing to make me go, oh, fuck, I want to play on PlayStation now. Nah, fuck you. This is bullshit. Because you are not adding value to your platform like a full exclusive game would be. You're pulling value from other platforms. You're decreasing the value of the Xbox version, of the PC version. I also don't believe that Spider-Man is going to be exclusive forever on PlayStation. Oh my god, I have so many issues with this. Let's start with people like to talk about, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. His movie rights. Not his video game rights, not his TV rights. There's fucking Spider-Man cartoons on Disney XD every fucking week. Spider-Man was in Ultimate Alliance 3 on Nintendo Switch. He didn't have to be on PlayStation. I can understand how the PlayStation exclusive game would confuse people and have people think, oh, Sony owns Spider-Man full out. They don't.
But they don't.
And you might even say, well, Tavern, because I'm generally pro exclusives. I think exclusives in general add value to your platform and they draw things and it drives competition. So you go, okay, Tavern, why are you cool with that, but you're not cool with this? Quite simply because competition drives every industry. Every industry. If you want to be the best, you got to do better than him. How can we do better than him? Well, let's have this product out that people will enjoy more, and that will cause them to try and make a better product, but we think our product's the best, so they're going to fail. So you're going to come with us. And then, you go back and forth in that realm. This is straight up just them saying, hey, this whole column of gameplay, because that's what these games are. It'd be like if the Warlock in Destiny was locked to the Xbox or something. Mm-hmm. Or it'd be like if, one of the characters in World of Warcraft was locked. Or if...
I saw one article describe it as the Barbarian not being in Diablo 4 for all consoles.
Yo, it's almost as extreme as saying the first Last of Us game. Let's assume Last of Us was multi-platform. The segment where you play as Ellie, only a third of your players get to play as that if they buy on this box. Mm-hmm. What? That part is intrinsic to the experience.
Yeah. This is just completely a scummy way to try and get people to buy it on a specific console.
It's just money. It's just money. It doesn't do anything better for anyone. It's Sony coming in, waving their big money dick, and Square Enix being like, yeah, let's do it. And then Crystal Dynamics gets caught in the middle of a game that seems to look okay, and gameplay impressions have come out, and we can talk about that in a minute, but I fucking hate this, and I'm, if you had said to me last week, hey, but I kind of want to play on PlayStation, I'd be like, okay, yeah, let's play on PlayStation. Now, no, I'm playing on my PC. I'm going to go get it on Steam. If I support the game at all.
What are the chances of them rescinding this, do you think? Do you think they could
Zero.
go back on it?
Zero.
Well, because they have not received good press from this. So
yeah, but PlayStation doesn't care.
That's true, but maybe it'll be one of those instances where the good guys win out.
Or I'll say PlayStation will be like, okay, we'll look at it. And then 6 months to a year later, we'll see something happen. Mm-hmm. This is why I don't believe Spider-Man is going to be exclusive forever. This is probably like a yearly thing or something. Because they even say here, no, yeah, it's just straight up your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man comes to Marvel's Avengers. I thought maybe there was some detailed wording about at launch or something.
No.
Let's also say he doesn't come at launch. He comes later down the line, 2021, early 2021.
So there's room.
So does he come before Hawkeye? And he comes free to PlayStation. So if he does, become multi-platform, do the other platform holders get him free as well? If I play on PC, and Spider-Man comes everywhere, or do I get him for free, or do I have to pay $10? Mm-hmm. And sure, there's exclusive missions and stuff, and exclusive cosmetics and whatever. That I'm more cool with. That makes more sense to me because it's not intrinsic. We still have a full game. These are just like little side things, cool, whatever. Spider-Man, each individual character of the Avengers is important intrinsically to the game. Mm-hmm. And it's just a step too far, and it's an abuse of the system. And to me, and the reason I'm so vehemently against it is because I think abuse of capitalism is what leads, not to be too political, but it leads into bigger topics that are close to me at heart in terms of how our healthcare system works in this country, how the police, brutality and their abuse of power works in this, and how, different groups have been marginalized and stuff, and it all comes down to money at the end of the day. And this is kind of the same thing. So if I'm going to take a stance there, I'm going to take a stance here. I had another point. I've forgotten it right now. You got anything else to add on this for right now?
It's shitty.
It's shitty.
And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No one. I can't see any way to defend this.
That was it. This would be more defensible. I still wouldn't like it, and I would still probably not support it, but it'd be more defensible if it was the PlayStation version of Spider-Man, with the white spider and the Insomniac Spider-Man. Okay, all right, I get it. Yeah, you want your Spidey on your console. Yeah, if you put your foot down and said, "This is ours. This guy right here. This is our guy." That's an argument you could make, but it's not.
No,
it's
not
Crystal Dynamics' own take on him. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be, like all the other heroes, some generic version of Spider-Man. So there's nothing special about it. Obviously, the guys at Crystal Dynamics wanted to make Spider-Man, because who fucking doesn't?
It's surprising enough he's not in the base game, honestly, out of all the characters. But
he might have been at some point.
And then they came up with this bullshit.
Yeah, well, Spider-Man isn't like a full Avenger all the time, he's usually
part-time, then.
He's usually pretty, he's part-time, small potatoes type stuff, but I hate this. It sucks that it's happening to my favorite fiction character of all time. Because I make arguments that Spider-Man is the best created in terms of creation. It's the best written character since like fucking Macbeth. Like just the whole arc of like Uncle Ben dying and great power and great responsibility and stepping up and owning all of that. Like that shit. Like everybody connects to that.
It is pretty timeless.
It works no matter where you are. It's it's America's answer to Greek mythology. But I don't know. I hate this, but I guess in some lighter news, some more positive news, some gameplay impressions of Avengers has come out.
Yeah, and people say it looks fun. They say each character plays differently.
Yeah.
Very differently.
Yeah.
Which adds to the problem with the Spider-Man character.
There's been a lot of like, I like this guy, don't like this guy, which is cool. You can like a main, but you can't go in with like a squad of 4 Black Widows. There's only one Black Widow. So if your whole team likes Black Widow, only one,
too bad.
Gets to play. Yeah, only one gets to play Black Widow. So impression, because they had a private beta for journalists and media and stuff last weekend. Right now, they've got the PlayStation exclusive beta for pre-orders going on right now. You and I are going to jump in. I don't think next week. I think the week after that is when it's free for PC. But we'll double check and all that. But I'm pretty sure it's next week. You and I are going to jump in whenever that drops and give y'all our impressions on it. For right now, it seems that it ranges from people being kind of meh, kind of whatever, or people enjoying it. Universally, they're like, it's not phenomenal, but it does what it needs to do for me to like it. I think the wrapping of Marvel superheroes helps a lot. It's the same reason that like Jedi Fallen Order is like the lowest tier Dark Souls game, but because it's wrapped in Star Wars, everyone likes it a little more.
It's got its own identity to carve out.
Yeah. So, I'm excited. I'm kind of bought into the hype right now. I'm not enough to make a pre-order purchase. Also, you just shouldn't make pre-orders anyway. I wait until the like an hour before the game releases to buy and download it, just because I want to play it as soon as the clock hits. For if I know I'm going to play it, unless I'm waiting for reviews or something. But yeah, that's about it for the news this week, Connor.
That is.
So let's go ahead and jump into what we've been playing. Connor, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I've continued Ghost of Tsushima. Last time I was playing, I think I had just gotten to Act 2, or had done a little bit of missions in Act 2.
Yeah, you were like maybe an hour plus.
About that much into it.
I was 10 minutes.
Well, I played more of that, a lot more of that. I actually finished up Act 2.
Oh, have you?
And went into Act 3. I did the first 2 missions in Act 3.
Okay.
Now, I have to mention that,
no spoilers.
No spoilers. But I got to a certain point. This is a big issue I had with it. As I got to a certain point that said, "Hey, this is going to be a long tail, so just get ready for it." And I was like, "Okay, I'll play the long tail." And what I would like to do, which is what I did in the last one,
you said it. You said I got a couple hours. I'm good.
I got it. Yeah, I'll do that. Like I did in Act 1, I completed the final mission of that big climax, and then I went back and did a bunch of stuff in the first area before moving on to the second one and embedding myself in that region.
Not a thing you can do here?
No. What happened is that it did the tail, and it was long, but then it gets to a point where, okay, now you're not allowed to go back to the second area or the first area, and you're designated to the third area for plot reasons. And, in a free roam game, that's not, I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
Can I ask, are there still like a bunch of side objectives happening in Act 3?
Or, yeah, there is. There's still stuff there.
So they can't even make the excuse of like, hey, we're ramping up the narrative and we want you to keep pace with us.
No, there's still other side things, finishing up the side characters' tales. And I absolutely, the big issue is that I wouldn't be so opposed to it if it said, hey, you're not going to come back to this area, finish everything you want to. But it said, it's a long tail. 2 very, very different things, and I just got screwed over.
That blows.
Yeah, and I feel like after Act 3's over, that's the end of the game, and then I'm just going to be able to do all the side stuff.
Oh, yeah, I assume, yeah.
But honestly, after that point...
Because there's no, like, missable trophies or any... Because I intend to one day get the platinum for this game. There's no, like, missable trophies. So you can go back and complete all the content or whatever.
I would assume so. And I was actually planning on platinuming this game, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Your second ever platinum,
yes.
Ghost of Tsushima.
But now I don't think I am. Because I think
what?
Yeah, because what I was doing is I was taking pretty much the entire game.
Oh, you wanted to roll
along.
credits. You wanted to roll credits with your platinum
Around that time, yeah, or get most of it done to where I only had a few things to mop up. But a lot of stuff in the second area isn't available to me because I never did it.
Well, how much did you do in the second area leading up to it?
Probably a good quarter, maybe half of the stuff that I could have done. It's hard to tell because there's lots of fog of war.
Spend half a day cleaning up things when you're done with it.
I may do that, but I may just be like the wind taken out of my sails. I'm like, okay, the game's over. The narrative's wrapped up. Which, by the way, major step up in that area.
Does it get more interesting?
Yeah, I was going to kind of subtract mental points from the game when it canceled out all those other areas that I wanted to explore still.
Yeah.
But it kind of made up for that in terms of plot and characters.
Yeah.
So the game did, it amped itself up. And you're going to be surprised, by the way, some things that you see. I'm pretty sure you are.
I made a prediction last week off air.
Remind me again. Maybe I know.
I can't.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah, because it was spoiler-ish.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't even know if I want it spoiled for myself. But
okay, I'm interested to play the game and see how it plays out. I haven't played it in the past couple days because I've been busy with playing Valorant again.
I haven't really been playing much Ghost of Tsushima at all. I played maybe another 2 hours.
Yeah.
Again, I'll get back to it. I'm just trying to clean up some other stuff that's on my list right now. I'm closing in on Mass Effect 3's Platinum.
Yeah, tell me about that.
It's Mass Effect 3. It runs terribly on PlayStation 3. Found this interesting glitch just the other day. There's that moment where you fight the big Reaper on Rannoch. The whole Geth and Quarian thing is happening. But there's a moment where you fight that big Reaper, which is mostly just for spectacle, but it works. Especially for 2012, it works. For whatever reason, I've never seen this happen before. But on PS3, this game runs awful. But there was this weird screen tearing effect where the cutscene would play, but an asset in the cutscene the silhouette of it would kind of get frozen, and it'd be this white strobe effect that if I was sensitive to that shit would have given me a stroke. It was offensive to the eye. I had to look away. Normally strobe effects, strobe lights or whatever don't do anything to me. I had to look away from the screen because it was so bright and it was strobing so fast.
It was really jarring.
I couldn't look at the fucking screen because it hurt to look. And it happened to the whole Reaper. Mm-hmm. So the whole screen of my TV is just flashing in my face all of a sudden. And I'm like, fuck. So that fucking sucked.
See, I remember Mass Effect 3 running really well, at least when I played on Xbox 360.
I mean, it ran fine back on 360, but the PS3 is not. It's a more powerful console than the 360, but it's more obtuse. Mm-hmm. And a lot of game devs had issues building games in it. Mm-hmm. They don't have that issue with PS4, obviously, because PlayStation learned their fucking lesson about that. But yeah, other than that, played a little bit of Valorant, still Valorant. But I jumped into, the new hotness that's taken over everybody's timeline feeds, Fall Guys. Connor, what's your read on Fall Guys? Just not really interested at all, or?
I don't know a thing about it.
You don't know a thing about it?
Our mutual friend Fergus kept bothering me to buy it, but I haven't looked up anything on it. Yeah. It's $20, so I haven't really had much interest. It seems fun. I mean, it's taking people by storm.
You still know nothing about it?
Not really, no. I don't even know what the game's really about.
So it's
he described it to me, but not
it's
in great detail.
It's think
Wipeout,
like battle royale Wipeout.
That's what Fergus said.
Kind of stuff. It's quirky. You play as these little egg dudes who run around, and you can dress your egg dude up however
cosmetics,
you want, cosmetics, etc., etc. And you're basically just running obstacle courses, and there's 15 different courses. I assume they're just going to add more later, and eventually have a playlist so big that you don't see too many duplicates. I've seen a bunch of duplicates, but I know for a fact there are maps I haven't seen yet. Mm-hmm. And each one has its own gimmick. There's one where it's a race to the finish, and everyone's on seesaws. So you have to work with the people you're racing to get these seesaws balanced the right way. There's one with just spinning logs that are designed to knock you off the map and reset your progress. There's team games, which aren't very well thought out. Like, there's like this I think it's called like Take a Tail or something like that, where like some players have like little tails, little golden tails on them, and other players have to steal those tails from them, and like the team with the most tails at the end wins. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it'll be like 3 teams. There's 3 teams, and the team with the least amount of tails, all of them get booted.
And then the next one.
Yeah, and the next
one.
The problem with that is like you can be a really good player, but if your team sucks, you're gonna lose, and you get booted out for no reason of your own. It's not like the more competitive modes where you're like racing to the end, where it's your own personal skill. Also, players get in your way and knock you around, and they can grab you and hold you back and stuff and fuck with you. It's fun. It's not phenomenal, but it's fun. We're gonna continue playing it probably this week. Yeah, you should come and play with us. There's like 5 rounds, so you play like 5. You can play like up to like 5 rounds each game. So it'll be like you'll start out with an obstacle course, and then it'll get into the seesaw shit, and then it'll do a team game, and then it'll et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's randomized. There's one where like the map is set up on layers of grids, and you start at the top layer, and every grid space you jump on makes that grid space disappear.
That's the one thing I did see.
Yeah. So then you're trying to outlast everybody on there, So it's a lot of fun. We're laughing. We're having a good time. It's a good like kick back, crack open a beer, like just have some fun with friends.
Yeah.
Type game. We've seen a couple of hackers already.
Oh, really?
Jump in.
Fall Guys. How pathetic are you?
That's what we kept saying.
God.
So like there's like one game where like imagine like a long runway. And then there's a bunch of gates on the runway. And let me say this differently. It's a runway, and there's a bunch of walls blocking your path on the runway. And in the wall, there's like 5, 6 gates in each wall. And like the first wall, all but one of the gates will break open as soon as you jump through it. But the one gate that doesn't, like you try to jump through it, and then it'll knock your character back, and you lose time or whatever, and everybody rushes ahead. And then as you progress down the runway, less and less doors open for you. So then like players are getting bottlenecked in, and you're like fighting your way through the crowd, you're like fuck, get off of me, fucker. Yeah, so that's one of I like that game mode specifically more. But I saw a dude like Superman jumping over the walls, which you can't do. But he's just like straight up just... And me and our buddy Fergus were just looking at him like, what the fuck? Why?
That defeats the entire purpose of the game, isn't it? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you win the game using that method. What do you get from it?
Well, I mean, hackers in general are of the belief that everyone's hacking. So, if they stop hacking, then they fall victim to these imaginary hackers that... Listen, it's just some basement dweller who's a fucking loser and...
Hacking Fall Guys.
Yeah, needs to cheat at video games to feel accomplished or whatever the fuck. But yeah, like, especially like, why Fall Guys of all fucking games? Like, this game, like, it is so not, like, skill-based. Like,
it's not.
Like, some bullshit will happen, you go, oh man, what the fuck? That's bullshit. Like,
that's part of the allure of the game, though, just having fun.
Yeah, it's goofy and fun and lighthearted. Yeah, you should absolutely jump in with us. It's worth $20. I don't regret my purchase. So, I'm having fun with it. Free on PS Plus, but all of our friends moved to PC. They're like a bunch of fucking losers.
Yeah. It'd be so easy just to play for free.
Right? Anyways. I think that's about it for what I've been playing. Do you want to add anything else?
Not really. My games haven't changed that much. I mean, I've progressed in Ghosts of Tsushima. Played Valorant still. Nothing really much else.
I'll get back to... Ghost of Tsushima eventually. Eventually. Yeah.
But other than that, that's pretty much
about it, Connor. All right. So episode 3 in the bag, in the hatch. What is the saying there?
In the sock? I don't know.
You don't know where I'm going with that.
No, I don't.
All right.
Sorry I left you hanging.
So anyways, you can catch us on SoundCloud and YouTube. Probably should have said that at the top of the show, yeah?
Probably, yeah.
Probably. 8 a.m. every Monday. Check back next week with us to see what we've been playing and catch up on the nerdy news. I feel a storm coming, Connor.
Storm.
Storm coming. Something's coming. Something's coming. It's just a matter of time.
Finally, you're going to get that announcement for the Mass Effect.
Yeah, there was a leak.
There was a leak again.
There was a leak.
Like that leak I saw a couple months ago that turned out to not have anything about it.
There was a leak. It's coming, Connor.
It's coming, but I'm just going to bug you until it does
Connor.
come.
I saw a thing, said September 29th. That's bullshit. It's not coming in September. We also have to remember, it's just a fucking remaster collection. They can just fucking throw that anywhere.
Okay.
It could come up, next week and just be like, all right, it's coming out. And we're like, cool, we'll play it. Mm-hmm. They're not going to give like a 3-month lead time on it. Anyways, but we're beside the point. You can catch us SoundCloud, YouTube, 8 a.m. every Monday morning. Other than that, y'all have a great week.
Have a blessed day.